So now what we do at the end is we play the game Flip the Book.
Okay.
So we'd love for you to play. Could you pick a book, 1, 2 or 3?
Well, 3 is...
3.
And what a sacred number.
Is right. And actually, seeing as you're here, can you just hold that, flip it open? Normally we ask for a number, a page number, but you're here. So we're going to make you do some of the work.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually wanted to go to page 42.
Off you go.
For those of you who know the number 42, I'm a very big fan of Douglas Adams, who was a British author who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. I know The Hitchhiker's Guide.
So the very, very basic premise of the book is that they built a computer to try and work out what the ultimate answer to life, the universe and everything is.
Oh.
So after billions and billions of years of calculating and trying to work out what is the ultimate answer, it came up with 42.
Well, let's see
So
what's on 42.
when they questioned as to why 42, the computer said, well, the thing is you don't understand what the question is.
Ah.
And that, for me, as a child, was very profound. So 42 has got a very special meaning for me.
That is very interesting.
Very, very early in your book. And it's a page with a picture.
Okay, so the picture is actually of... Okay, so there's a person standing in a vortex of emotions and there's lots of words like shame, superiority. So that represents the emotional baggage and the layers. And then we've got feelings coming down the core of the person and their own shine of consciousness. So it's a picture describing that your soul's consciousness is the truth of who you are and communicates through feelings and wants you to acknowledge reality. And the emotional baggage is this chaotic mess that we all know we've got. The emotional, the unresolved emotions, and it's what you're experiencing that might be stopping you from feeling your own soul. What would you like to say about that?
Well, that resonates 100% with my journey and my feelings. Your soul's consciousness communicates through feelings, actively accepting and acknowledging the truth of reality. Yeah, that resonates very, very deeply.
Because your soul never denies reality.
No. It is that understanding that, yes, we are human. Our soul has a higher vibration, but our physical body, our brain network is a 3D vibration. So we are going to have, as I call them, these 3D issues. So the traumas that we have. And as I said right at the start, is that I strongly believe that we have a soul contract and we do choose events. Understanding that each one of these events is a chance of empowerment and evolution of our soul.
Mm.
And it is understanding that all of this little whirlwind around this character in the middle who's in the light of denial and shame and regret, frustration, hate, jealousy, all of these traumas, these I call them the programs that run us, are all opportunities for empowerment, for growth and for evolution.
Yeah, I agree.
I really sort of feel that, and it's when things happen, and I sort of find sometimes these days when an event happens that's a bit of a block in the road, straight away I think, okay, I switch my perspective and look a little bit higher and go, okay, what's the bigger picture here that I'm not seeing? Sometimes I won't see it, but once again, it's that understanding with regards to the framework. Yeah. There could be something bigger that I'm not seeing that's not letting me do what I need to do.
And sometimes you need hindsight to be able to look back and you go,
Exactly right.
And you were walking it exactly how you were meant to.
Yes.
Because you got all the elements to it.
Yes, yeah, exactly right. So no, this sits very, very deeply, and it is that understanding that, you know, through all the trauma that we go through, it is that understanding that it's an empowerment, and the people who have been involved in that trauma, it's all a part of this karmic path and this empowerment. I mean, it doesn't take away from that. At the time, yes, there's pain. Yes, there is the sorrow. Yes, we have to cry, we have to bawl, we have to scream. Sometimes we have to punch a punching bag, whatever it is that we need to do to deal and release. And it's not taking away the depth of that.
Yeah.
But it is also, as I said, it's that compassion. We look at it with compassion, and we look at it with that sight of, okay, there is a potential learning as potential empowerment. Right at this point in time, I can't see it because all I want to do is cry.
Yeah.
But understanding that, okay, there will be something there.
And I think that's a very good point, is that the healing journey doesn't take away the reality of it being traumatic, because people want to gloss over it, or people want to tell you to gloss over it. The reality is, if something's traumatic, it's traumatic. And if you're responding with fear reactions or hurt and pain, that's real. And it's going through that process of understanding it, understanding the patterns or the programming, depending. I always say patterns, but it's the same thing. And then it can bring you to a place where once you come to the recovery point of it, you gain your wisdom.
Oh, 100%. And from my personal perspective, I feel that's the true spiritual path. It is.
Yeah, I do too.
There was a post that I put up quite a while ago where it says you first discover the light, you then discover the shadow.
Yes, and you need the both, and that
you need, and this is what this picture depicts, and it is. And I think some people find that spiritual path and just think that it is all light and happiness, and we just, that will eventually dissolve the darkness. But we have to step into that darkness for empowerment.
Yeah, and if you're doing it, understanding that you are a soul with an evolutionary blueprint in front of you. It's worth it.
It's very, very powerful. I'd like to share an experience that I had with regards to this soul journey and my understanding. It was actually happened when I was doing my diploma in shamanism. So I think it was April 2021. There was a group of 13 of us up in Byron Bay doing our diploma in shamanism. And I can't remember if it was during one of the meditations or one of the healings. It was all a bit of an amazing week of energy and it's a bit blurred. But throughout my journey, I have had glimpses of past lives. Now, my knowledge of history, I've never studied history. I've not know any knowledge, so there's no false recollections from what I've studied. But when I've had little glimpses, I've then done a little bit of research into events, and it's lined up, and I just think, oh my God. So I've had glimpses of a lot of past lives, and during Byron Bay, during this session, it was such an amazing moment where I could almost see all of my past lives lined up in front of me.
Wow.
In a time scale where there was almost like 3 different chunks of learning in my past life. So my first lot of past lives, I could see the learning from that it was all to do with sacrificing myself for others.
Oh, yes.
Which I think a lot of people can relate to.
Yes, I can relate.
But those lives, it was unaware of that. So I would go into battle. One of them I was one of the centurions in Julius Caesar's army. So there was this whole awareness of, I will lay down my life for king and country, or for whatever it is that's out there. And there was no individual journey. It was my life for others.
Yeah.
The next lot of lives were a slight awareness of that. One of the strongest recollections was being in the American Civil War. And running in, I hate to say that I had the grey coat on, which I since looked when I did a bit of research.
You went, I'm on the wrong team.
I'm on the wrong team, and I feel so embarrassed about that. But I can remember running in, I could smell the mud and hearing the cannons, and just thinking, what am I doing? Why am I here doing this? I don't quite believe. And then I could just remember getting shot in the heart, and then bang.
Right.
And then there's another chunk of lives further on where I've actually started to rebel against having to sacrifice my life for others. Right. So for me, that was such a huge, profound moment where it was almost like, oh my God, I get why I've been through what I've been through in this life, and why I'm now stepping into my power, empowering others.
Yeah. And
I, completely rebelled against my teachings of the Catholic Church and my upbringing, because it just didn't fit with me. And the teachings that I was taught as a child is that your value to society is what you do for others. Yes. Yeah, it's all about doing, but it's not. For others, and there's no individuals. Your sacrifice for others is your value, which does not sit with my soul. And that was as I said, a very profound moment where I looked at all of these lives and I thought, oh my God, I understand, I get it. Yeah. I get it. And I'm not gonna go through it again. So I want to do what I can in this life. Yeah. So when it comes time for me to transition, whether or not there may be still some more learnings, or whether I get to choose another set of learnings, or
who knows,
might
you'll
go
find
somewhere
out
else.
then. I think that is a big learning, because that I had boundary issues, and I was all about, I actually thought I had to be doing to be loved.
Yes.
So, and I didn't realize that it was just by being me, and you'll either love me or you won't love me, or you'll like me or you won't like me, and it's whatever. But I sacrificed a lot of time. I find time is the most valuable thing I've got.
Yes.
I've spoke of it before, and I sacrificed a lot of time that didn't serve me well. Yeah, I love that you got that lesson, and you've reaffirmed to me how important that lesson is.
It's a beautiful thing. And as you were saying there, is that once you start to love yourself and do yourself, you then find those connections who have a deeper meaning with you.
Yeah.
And then help you rise.
Yeah. And I was lucky because I had that. I just didn't recognize, I have friends that are now family, and we just fully accept each other for who we are, and we always have. And it's beautiful. We got this, 30 odd year friendships, and they're family. But it's like from there I could really see they didn't expect anything from me. They just loved me for who I was, and I love them for all of who they are. So it is a big lesson to learn. I have thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, and I want to thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a